Hi, everybody. I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi. Welcome to Immigration Talk, episode 23. It is May 11th, and we're recording this. A lot of interesting information we're going to talk about marijuana and USA visa updates and what happens with the border protection. Updates about if you're Russian trying to get a visa. That's some nightmare situation we saw. Updates about how USCIS talks about its processing times. We'll get to that first because that's the most interesting thing, probably people, because they deal with the delay so much with USCIS. My wonderful associate Anna Sergeeva is going to talk about that. Before we start, if you haven't already, like and subscribe wherever you're watching this so you can get the updates. We do a lot of videos here and also on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and everywhere. So join us as much as possible. Just JQK Law Firm. You can find us there. And if you want to ask a question in a sense like schedule a consultation, really email us. I'm info@jqqlaw.com or email Anya to schedule time. It's Anna@jqqlaw.com. It's ANNA@jqqlaw.com. Anya, how are you doing today? Good to see you.
Thank you, John. I'm doing well. Thank you so much for this great introduction. Yes, how you've been?
I've been good. I had a cough. That's getting better. And, we have so many cases getting approved really fast. These marriage cases have been jumping. So that always makes me happy. There are some stragglers there where USCIS is losing stuff, this and that. That makes you want to pull your hair out. We'll probably talk about those cases next week. The examples of, them not figuring out the mailing address. Another one, they're losing the file. The A file can't be found, so they can't approve a case. We'll talk about that next week. But let's just admit to it. You brought up when we were talking beforehand about the timeline adjustment USCIS did on its website to so-called allegedly simplify the situation. When the government says we're going to simplify something, you can expect it's going to get more complicated in reality. But can you talk about what that entails and what that's about?
And yes, so USA is saying that they're simplifying, improving communication of case processing data. That's how it's officially called. Okay, they just did this announcement like literally a couple of days ago. And they're saying that they want to improve the transparency, they want to improve the efficiency, they want to make it easier for people to understand what's going on, when can they make a case inquiry, when it's not the right time for that yet. So, and basically they redesigned this whole USCIS case processing page. Okay, and in my opinion, now we will get less information than what it used to be. So what they changed? First thing, I don't know, John, if you wanna, yes, bring it up. Thank you so much. So they changed the range. So it used to be where you see this 15.5 months now, for example, for adjustment of status case in Los Angeles. Okay, it used to be from and to. Now we see just only one number. Okay. Well, and they're saying it's better. I don't know. I don't think so personally. And for example, we're doing constantly these cases for Los Angeles office. And John, how much time generally it's taken nowadays? Like 4 months, maybe something like that on average. And here it shows like 5.5 months.
Yeah,
which is
cases. Yeah, exactly. We're getting done in like 3 to 4 months. It's incredible. So this doesn't make any sense. And then they added 80% of the cases. So that still leaves 20% of cases. That's tens of thousands of maybe let's say hundreds or thousands of cases that don't fall within this. So it doesn't really help you at all. And that's why I always tell people you could check when people call and ask about timelines. We're on our live Q&A we have every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific. How long is this going to take? I say go to USCIS.gov, see what the number is, then close your computer and completely forget it because it's worthless. This number, you just got to wait. That's the only reality when it comes to timelines.
I mean, it's true, and USCIS themselves, they are pointing that this is just a reference point. It's not necessarily that this is how much time your specific case will take. And as John mentioned, we as an attorneys, we don't rely on this processing times that much. Some of them may be reliable, some of them are not. But again, it's not clear to us how do they calculate that. They talk about methodology here a little bit, but still it's what we see from our practice, this number would be completely different. It's not 15.5 months.
Not at all, yeah.
Exactly. One more thing that they updated is that, go ahead, John.
Oh, so yeah, they added this when you could complain date here. Instead of like looking at the old system, you could put in the date of your receipt and get and then see when you can inquire. So let's say someone filed their case in January 1st, 2019, let's say, get inquiry date. It says you can send us questions by submitting. So then it says, okay.
You didn't put 2019, you put like 2009, 19. Yeah.
We're 19 years after Jesus. So.
Yes. So
So like it says you can do a service request. Now, one issue I've been having with my computer, when I go make a service request, and for those listening to the podcast, you can't see this, it goes to this page that says bad gateway doesn't work. I have to do a Google Chrome incognito mode to be able to do it. For some reason, my regular Chrome doesn't work. So that's just a practical thing. But yeah, it says before they would say these dates and when you could do it, and a person had to like figure it out. Now, there were times in the old system where it would say I can make a request. And when I went to do the request, it would say you can't make a request. So this system, new one's really new. I haven't tested it out, but just there's unreliability baked into this. So it's kind of happy they're trying to do stuff. I mean, it shows goodwill to a certain extent, but practically speaking, this for immigration practitioners, this doesn't help at all. If anything, before we used to see all different categories in one sitting, we could see them all. Now we got to go one by one and press it. So it makes it less transparent because now you got to go one by one and search this and that. Before it was much easier to get what these times are. And as you said, for example, we just did IA24 in Houston, N600K in Houston, Texas. That's the application, and that was done in like no time. I mean, weeks. Let's see, Houston, Texas, get processing times. They're saying 8 months, and it's not true. It's got done within like 1-2 months. So they're just not reliable. So that's why. I mean, it's nice they did spend all this money to make this website. God bless them, but it's not something that helps in reality.
I mean, I think it needs more work. Good thing they're trying to improve that, but again, in my honest opinion, now we will get even less information on the process and timelines than we used to. And I'm sure, for example, John, you can try now. If you put some inquiry date, recent inquiry date, probably not inquiry date, recent receipt date, for example, you'll not even get a link. Maybe, I'm not sure about that, but you can try that now. You'll not even get the link to make an inquiry, if your date is still within the normal processing time, so something like that. Which makes sense because on the one hand, because probably some people very anxious about their cases, and then understandably, because this is whole their life, now at stake, and they've just send the case inquiry request, for example, when they just have to wait instead of sending this request, and probably USCIS like wants to reduce the amount of service requests they get, so they can focus on some on actual, for example, adjudication of the cases rather than replying to service requests for cases that still didn't, maybe I would say, ripe, or something. So yeah, basically that's what happened.
So that's the answer, because we get emails to what the new system is and updates, and that's the update when it comes to this timing system. The next thing is interesting. It obviously doesn't affect a lot of people I'm going to talk about, but it's the situation with marijuana and being able to enter the United States. So obviously a lot of states in the United States, a lot of states, and a lot of obvious, I keep repeating words, but accept marijuana as for personal use in California and a lot of other states. However, it's still a federal crime. So if you're an immigrant, unless you're a U.S. citizen, you shouldn't be involved in marijuana, do marijuana, blah, 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 because you could get deported and have your status removed, all that kind of stuff. Now, there are people in Canada, for example, and other countries who have fully legalized marijuana systems. They work in that industry. The Customs and Border Protection, the people that deal with people coming to the border, had said in their online pages that said, yeah, if you're, for example, you work at a medical marijuana or marijuana dispensary, or if you work on scientific stuff on marijuana, because it's federally legal, we're going to give you a lifetime ban on entry if you try to come in. You're not allowed to come in. And one of the heads of CBP, the Customs and Border Protection, has said this as well. A law firm, Davis Tremaine, I forgot their full name, but they did their marijuana, the cannabis section of their law firm, did what's called a FOIA request, a Freedom of Information Act request, to get the internal guidance to see where this ruling came from. Because what if your person is in the marijuana industry overseas, but is coming to the United States to go to Disneyland, to go to vacation? Where is the rulemaking that says they can do it? Because CBP on its own can't just make policy. They have to go through steps and all that. So they did a Freedom of Information Act request. CBP sent a bunch of redacted stuff that didn't have information. Years and years of lawsuits entailed, and eventually they won. And the government negotiated with this law firm and released it. And they saw that although CBP publicly had said that, yeah, if you're in the marijuana industry overseas, you can't come in, there's no policy internally, and that was incorrect. So based on this, if you are in the marijuana industry overseas and you want to come in and do non-marijuana related kind of stuff, then it should be okay. Having said that, practically speaking, they may say, we don't believe that you're coming here. We really think you're coming here to sell marijuana. So they can still deny you and ban you and stuff like that, practically speaking. But this, on its own policy that they put forward, is incorrect, illegal, essentially, and what shouldn't have been done. And there was a famous case that came a couple years ago where there was a marijuana researcher from Israel who was doing adjustment, and there was banned for this, even though he discontinued that research after he came to the United States, I believe. And so that maybe could be reopened and say that ban was incorrect because they never made a determination about this. It may or may not happen. It's very complex, especially with the marijuana situation because it's so new. But it's something to be aware of. And one is you may be able to still come if you're in the industry overseas. Secondly, these agencies sometimes run amok and make up things that aren't legal. So that's why these lawyers are there to kind of hold their feet to the fire and say, hey, no, like if you want to make it illegal or something, go by the process. We're a country of rule of laws and all that kind of stuff. We have constitution, we have statute, we have Congress, this and that. You can't just make up something without going through the steps. So God bless the group that sued him on this. I know a lot of people from Customs Border Protection, great people, and they do a hard job of protecting our borders. But they have to go by the rules, just like the immigrants got to go by the rules. Everybody has to go by the rules. You can't just make things up. So it was a really good decision and negotiation to happen there. I was really happy to read that this morning.
Yeah, I just want to adapt to what you just John just said. I think it was somewhere in April. I read in the news that House passed bill to federally decriminalize marijuana, which is House. It still has to be approved by the Senate. Go through the Senate and signed by the president. So, and this is not the first time I hear about this, like decriminalizing marijuana on the federal level. So we will see if this law will become law, because now it's not a law; it's still a bill. So they're considering it, but again, we don't know if it's going to happen and when it's going to happen. But it's something in the near future. We will know the result.
Got to move on from bans, but we'll see, and that's going to affect a lot of immigrants because a lot of them have these kind of issues in their history. Now, you had come up on a situation, a colleague of ours talked about a Russian case, a Russian national who was going to get a visa. Horrible circumstance. Can you talk about the facts of what happened there, just to show you how bad U.S. immigration policy and foreign policies could be, especially for people that get caught up between these government issues and all that kind of stuff. The little people get crushed in it.
I mean, yeah. So what we see recently, we hear reports, and from our clients that we consult with us too, we hear reports that unfortunately, a lot of Russian citizens, they specifically Poland, Polish embassy, they started to deny their Schengen visa because, for example, if you're from Russia and you need to get to your immigrant visa interview, now the designated embassy is Warsaw, Poland. So first thing that you have to do, you need to get the Schengen visa. And now Poland, the embassy is not issuing Schengen visas for Russian citizens, for both male and for both female. And people cannot get to the U.S. embassy for their interviews, for both immigrant visa interviews and non-immigrant visa interviews. And even more than that, one of our colleagues reported a couple of days ago saying that her client actually was able to get a Schengen visa, but they didn't let her go at the like Polish border. I think it was I'm not sure which border was it, but
they took a bus and they went through the Belarus side to come in, which does Belarus and Poland have a? You would know you're from Belarus. Do they have okay?
Yeah,
so,
it's like one.
Does, but I didn't know. So they stopped at the border and wouldn't let him in after his long bus trip. So this person went through hell and back to deal something like that under the circumstances. So it was a very sad situation to hear.
I mean, obviously, it's for political reasons and probably for Poland national security reasons, because now in every applicant they will see someone who works for Russian FSB or something like that. Again, we don't know that, but probably, of course, it's related to war, to war in Ukraine. So, and again, we have not thought like how we're gonna approach this problem, but some of our clients they were able to make it to Mexico. And, they're trying to get their applications processed through Mexico. And some people were able to do that, some not, because generally, in order for you to, if you're from Russia, Russian citizen, if you want to get your application, immigrant visa application specifically processed through Mexico, you have to reside in Mexico. You need to show them like that you're a resident of Mexico for them to actually accept the case. For example, to transfer the case from Warsaw to Ciudad Juarez.
Now, one thing they can potentially try to move it to Armenia or maybe to Kazakhstan, because Russians probably could visit there. So that may be a tactic, but you have to get the embassies to accept it. They may or may not. You got to contact them, see it's okay. In the Mexico example, you got to be in Mexico with a some sort of residency visa type. So you got to jump through a lot of hoops. It's not going to be easy. Russia is, I mean, what Iranian clients have to go through for so many years, Russia's starting to go through it right now. And they have been. It's been a lot of issues with Russians getting visas, even before all this, for years now, with the embassy, political issues, an understaffed embassy, and all that kind of stuff. So it's hard. It's just hard, and it's not easy. It's just gonna be a fight back and forth till it's done, and you just got to be prepared for that. And the more you prepare, the better it is. Anya, thank you so much for sharing that. If you're interested in schedule time with you, just email Anya at anna@jqqlaw.com. I'm John Khosravi. Follow us if you haven't, like and subscribe wherever you're watching this: YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. Everybody, everywhere, and everybody should do it because we have the best updates, and I think we have the funnest videos out there. So definitely reach us out. Anya, thank you so much for coming on the show again.
Thank you so much, John. Thank you for having me here. It's so much fun for me every time we do that, and thank you everyone for watching, and we will see you very soon.
Definitely. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.